Okay, hi. I don't have Pro 2014 yet. This is Pro 2012. I'm just going to create a new plan here using the default style. For this door thing, I'm just going to draw a box so we can have something to enclose the example. Don't need roofs. I'm going to turn off roof planes. I don't need them. They're just in the way. Okay. Now we'll draw an interior wall. See, what I had in mind was just placing a door. I mean, I originally said soffits and stuff, but I'll get to that. There's a door. Now, a door by default, looks like a door. But you can open the door dialog box on the thing. And let's see what we can do. We can suppress the casing. If the door is supposed to look like the wall, then it wouldn't have casing. I don't know. That's one of the reasons I asked for an example. What is the door? What does your intended door look like? We can suppress the doorknob. We can suppress the hinges, and we can make the door style a slab. And this is what I was talking about, the thickness. We can make that. I'm going to set it to 5 inches, but I think if I hit the tab key, 4 is apparently the limit. Probably limited by the thickness of the wall. I can check that. Anyway, that's neat. Then you can put the material on the wall and the door, and that's what it looks like in plan view. That's what it looks like. You can see now it has a 4-inch thickness here. If we change the interior wall to a 6-inch, let's see. I'll change that to interior 6, and then see if I can change the door. I was just curious if the door thickness limitation came from the wall or from the door dialog box. I'm not sure. Let's see. No, 4 is the limit. It's just a limit built into the software, and it's the same in Chief Premiere. I checked there first. Just set that back to interior, not siding 4, interior 4. So this works provided you don't want your door to also have base mold on it. See, that's another step. Or if the room has a chair mold, a chair rail, excuse me. Let me put a chair rail on. So there's certain limitations that if I knew exactly what you're trying to do, then I could come up with various solutions. I'm going to go over to moldings, and in this room, I'm going to uncheck default and add another one, another molding. If you're interested in moldings, this might be interesting. Well, chair rail is what I want. We'll put a chair rail, and not a crown molding. Chair rail, 36. That's fine for this example. Now, see, this chair rail doesn't continue across the door, and if you want a door that looks like part of the wall, you'd want that molding to go across the door in terms of the base mold and chair rail. Get the idea. So that's if that was the case, then you might want to also have this for plan view. Excuse me. We go over to cabinet tools. We'll put a soffit over here. Go back to the camera. See, there's the soffit up there. Soffits are normally, for fur downs, for kitchens and so forth, but they can be used for lots of different things. So I'm just going to pull that down. Excuse me. Pull it down to the floor. And make it, I'm just going to make it 1 inch thick. Comes in defaulted 13 inches. And I think, well, I know for certain that you can add moldings to, there's that soffit there in plan view. And again, keep in mind this is Pro 2012, but Pro 2014 in this respect is not substantially different. Now I need this, if it's going to be the door, I need this flush with a sheetrock here. So I'm going to take this and move this object here using this transform replicate dialog. I'm going to move it up screen. That would be Y, half an inch. And I'm also going to make this soffit a half an inch so it's flush with the wall. Make it 1/2. Okay, now it's pretty flush. I'm going to go back to the camera view. Okay, see the soffit is picking up the base mold and the chair rail. I'm going to need to adjust the soffit just a little bit more width-wise. There we go. See how it continues the molding? So that's the reason I wanted to know exactly what it is that you want to do and what it looks like. You can still see the edge lines there. Let's change to a vector camera. You see a soffit will naturally pick up the assigned moldings in a room. And so that if I was going to make a door that I didn't want to have it look like a door, then this would be an additional thing I would do. Now that takes care of this side. Let's look at the other side. The other side is just, you still have the same thing. You might have to put a soffit over here. Again, I don't know in detail exactly what you want, but Pro allows you to do a lot of things to emulate things. And this program is not end-all, be-all for all solutions possible. But when you really learn its tools, you can emulate pretty much anything that you want. It gets a little more complicated if there was a color strip. I'm just going to go whole hog here. I'm going to open the room dialog, go to the wall covering tab, and add you may not even come across these tools, but this is going to be germane to kind of what the sort of thing that you came up with. Excuse me. Go to core catalogs. I'm not going to be an interior designer here. I'm just demonstrating. We'll want checks and plaids. That's fine. I know this is probably not a good example, but I know it'll show up. I'm going to assign this stuff here, and we'll tell it to start just above the chair rail, so floor to bottom would be 36. And the height, I'm going to set it to 12, and click OK. And it paints it around the room. Let me change the camera back so you can see the texture. But in order to do that, I'd have to add this strip here to the soffit. It gets a little bit more complicated. So that's the reason I asked in my Home Talk post exactly what your door looks like, because that's going to determine how you model it. Now, I think I've solved a number of problems here, not only in camera views, but also in plan view. You can see that that's a thick, a thick chunk of the wall that is hinged or on a pivot. And so that's the end of this tutorial. You need to provide more information. A picture of the door that you intend would be great. And then there's ways and means and tools to emulate a lot of things, not everything, but most everything. And I think this is a great example of that, okay? Well, thank you. That's the end of the tutorial.